How y'all doing? Welcome to Cool Stuff with AI. I'm your host, Michael Howard. Again, first episode here, so like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you're thinking. I've been working with AI for quite a few years now. I've written many books with AI. I've created songs. I've started a couple businesses with AI. But I find it fascinating, and I think too many people are intimidated by it, and that a lot of the videos that you see are kind of a lot. And they don't start with a simple concept of like, how can we do cool stuff with AI? People hear, oh, it's going to take your jobs, it's going to take over the world or whatever. It's like, well, here we're just going to be like, let's just do cool stuff with it, stuff that we can use in our life, and stuff that makes our lives easier and better. So we're going to I was planning on doing a different video, but I found myself creating the logo for Cool Stuff with AI. And I was like, well, why don't I just show people the process of how you do it? And some of this is about curating tools. And for the 4+ years that I've been working in AI, that's one of the biggest things is you kind of have to have the right tool for the right job. And a lot of things will do. Again, I'm not going to go too far. Today we're using something called Ideogram. And Ideogram is specifically good for creating things, images that have letters in it. But my experience has been when somebody will come to me and be like, "Hey, I'm trying to create a logo for my business, or I want to create packaging for a box for a product that I'm doing," and I'll say, "Hey, use Ideogram," and then they'll come back to me and be like, "I got this. How did you get that?" And there's been much to be said about the technical term prompt engineering, which is the words you type in here. But that's part of what we're going for. So I'll show you. We'll jump right in here. So, I wanted something cool stuff with AI. And, I started by saying, hey, give me, what was my prompt here? The prompt was logo for a YouTube channel called Cool Stuff with AI. And we get this. Now that looks to me very sophomoric, not great, not what we want. Oh, and then I said, okay, what did I change to here? Okay, still, wait, let's see if the prompt is here. A slick logo, simple logo for a YouTube channel called Cool Stuff with AI. The logo features text with Cool Stuff AI in modern bold font. Below the text is a small robot icon. I didn't really like the robot. But you can see you get different versions of this. And a lot of it is about, well, what are you going for? And then I was like, okay, I'm kind of going for something more one-line-ish. I mean, some of the stuff looks good. I like this logo. But you're like, well, where are you going to use it? And then I like this one here. And I like this one here, where it's like, it's interesting. But again, it's about your preferences. And I said, you know what? I really want something more wide than tall. And that, in Ideogram, they give you the options here of aspect ratio. 9:16 is like cell phone, 1:1 is square, 16:9 is like your TV. So I had switched over to 16:9. Have to admit, I really like this, but you have to keep in mind, like, what is the background going to be? So I really like this. And what you can do here is you can hit remix, which is kind of like, it'll redo this, but you can make it slightly different. Like here, it says, it basically gives all this information. The A in AI is designed as a robot with a smiling face. I kind of like all that. I just kind of want the background to be muted. Let's see, I'm just going to add in like a muted gradient of blue that lets the logo pop out. Now, again, I haven't done this. You have this image weight here. So what this means is like, how close do you want it to look to what you have already? If you make it 90%, you're basically going to get the same thing. And if you get 10%, you're going to get, you're going to get something wildly different. It's preset to 50, which gives you something similar, but not that different. But we're going to go to 40 to just give it a little more oomph. And I have one of the, Ideogram is free for a few generations. I think I have the middle tier, which is like 25 bucks a month. I use this a lot. And I'll do more videos on that where I show you all the different things. Like I create YouTube thumbnails with them, and I find it to be very good at certain stuff. So let's see what it created here. Okay, you know, not really much better than this. Like this looks kind of. And then I told it I didn't want a robot, and then it started giving me this stuff. The key here, though, is that like if you look at a lot of these, this is where you kind of have to know what you want, and that's a big part about AI. Is that like you know, you can do iterations, and but you have to kind of tell it different things. So that's what we're going to do here. Is we're going to just say, all right, start over. I like the where you're going with this, but let's see what happens if we give it no other background and no other information. I really want it simple, but it, you know, it like this is close. Let's see here. What did I come up with here? Cool stuff with AI. All right, I don't like anywhere where we're gonna be, so we're gonna start over. We're gonna say the words "cool stuff" are big, bold, and eye-catching. Then on the same line, in smaller texts, we'll add with AI. Let's see what happens. Wait, I had too many A's in here. Again, you have like it. Sometimes it'll figure out your misspellings and stuff. But let's see. I kind of just want one line that says "cool stuff with AI," and you know, like this isn't a million miles away. I just think it can do better, and a little bit. Some of this gets to be addictive, where you're, you know, where you're gonna like you just keep running it and running it and running it. Like this is kind of what I'm after, right? Like this is pretty close here. You have options over here, which is like magic prompt, which I think gives you like kind of really what it's using. Let's see if we hit the prompt in here. All right. Let's just remix it again. But I'm kind of into that. Like, I wish it were a little more colorful. That's what I want. I don't want anything that is, you know, you have to think about it. What will it look like on a hat? What will it look like on a t-shirt? You don't want to look, you can't just think about it in its pure, like with the way it appears on here. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty close here. This, like, it's probably a little too much for me. You can't really read it. We're going to remix it here. We'll just drop this down. But we're getting there, right? We're certainly getting there. And that's what we want. You can use this for all, like, one of the big things that I've found with AI is that people are used to kind of like Google Brain, where they have to kind of like fix their brain to what they think the tool can do. And AI really, you should liken it to like an employee or an assistant or something like that, where it's like, you know, it may not come back with exactly what you want, but if you give it a little more, like that looks pretty good, right? Like we'll remix that again. Where was that? I can't tell how much I like it. But, you know, it's like here I'm just saying, oh, give me more versions, right? But I could just say, okay, I want it to be blue and yellow. And we'll just go. You see how it's changing the you know, the prompt here. I didn't put in any logo features, a robot with a smiley face, a robot is holding a light bulb, any of that stuff. I could clear it out if I wanted to go back to that simpler form, but, you know, I kind of like it. And, you know, I think we're pretty close to what I would think a professional logo. Like if you were going to something on Fiverr, let's remix this again. If you want to pay somebody this is going to cost you like 20 bucks, but some of it is just about reading this stuff. A sleek, eye-catching corporate logo for a YouTube channel called Cool Stuff with AI. The words cool stuff are big and bold and eye-catching, then on the same line in smaller text with AI. Now, it didn't do exactly what I asked. The logo features a robot with a smiley face. How about if we added chubby robot? All right, you know, I need to lose a few pounds. With a beard and a smiley face. Let's just see if we can robot me in there. I think some of the stuff, again, you have to have a little bit of an eye for design, but that's true. Like if you go to hire somebody to, you know, create your logo, they're only going to be able to do up to the point where, wow, it seems to get more and more complicated here. And that's, you know, a good logo shouldn't be over complicated. I'm still kind of stuck on this one. Then you just go over here and you just hit download and you've got it. And then we can go back to here. And which other ones did we like? I mean, I like... yeah, it's hard. You know, again, when you get too many options, like this is why it gets addicting, because all you have to do is hit let's go again. What happens if we drop it down to like 20% and see what it gives us? Let's see here. I like this one as well. So let's download these. What we're going to try to do now is, all right, how are we going to do this? All right, I will try to, I was going to try to bring it in here and make it the logo and see what you guys think. But you can see in here, it's like, okay, now it's a bearded guy and it has all this flair to it. Like, I like it. I think it's a little too much, but for, you know, in 10 minutes, we have a kind of a very passable logo for the show, right? And I don't think that you could hope for much more. And like, let's just say let's start over here, and we're gonna go. We're gonna add in here. I have a bulldog. I've had a couple bulldogs. You can hear my bulldog Albert sleeping beneath me. Let's just say there's a bulldog. Let's see what happens if we try to throw a bulldog in here. Now we've got a robot and a bulldog, and we'll see how that changes. But again, we're kind of like, you know, you got to remember where we started. We started down here with this. Yuck, right? That looks like, I don't know, 2005 Twitch stuff. And then we kind of went to, all right, I don't know, this looks like the opening of a TV show. And these look kind of unprofessional. And then we're like, okay, well, maybe this works a little bit. We had this here that looked, you know, certainly a little better. And then you can see us getting closer to what we wanted. We hit this one here, and we're like, okay, well, that's simple and unique. And I still kind of like it. But then when I see some of these other features, like, it does continue to get a little more complicated, and it may be too complicated. You can see as we started over, kind of looks like garbage. You know, like we didn't get any of the stuff that we were. That's why you kind of like, let's generate it again. You got to understand when you're using AI, and this is a part of like of learning to use AI, is that you're just spinning the slot machine. You're basically saying it puts a number in and it says, based on this number, what do you got? And then that's why when you find something that fits what you're looking for, it will do is it'll set that number in stone. So you get variations, slight variations of what you already like. But until you kind of hit on something that you like, here, let's go. Let's just make the bulldog here. I'm not going to use this. I'm just showing you more of like the process from the absolute the bulldog is holding a light bulb. So we kind of have replaced the robot with the bulldog. I mean, you can see some of this stuff. Like that's not like we're going backwards, right? That's why you have to lock in on something you like and then kind of just permutate off of that. And if you find that you've kind of gotten to the end and you're like, I don't really like that, then you kind of have to start over. Now, I like what we came up with. You know, like I kind of like that, but it's not exactly. I'm not so sure why. Well, let's just remix this with a very low thing here. So again, if you have a flower shop, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have any sort of business, using this is to me, it not only is it a cost saving thing, it's can be a lot of fun, and it also teaches you like how to go about graphic design, and it also teaches you better what you should ask for. Like I kind of like that. There's no reason for there to be a bulldog in here, which is chubby bulldog with white stripe on his face. My bulldog has a stripe down his face, and just want to see if you can do it. But that, it's a pretty professional, pretty professional looking logo, and you can do it yourself. I mean, it reminds me to the early internet when you were like, oh, okay, I can book travel all by myself. I can do all these other things by myself. I think there's just too much going on in here. Let's see here. We're going to just start over one more time. But again, I am a big fan of using Ideogram for this. There are some other tools that you can use, but Ideogram is you can get it for free. It's reasonable, and I think it does the best job. You just have to be willing to kind of put the permutations in and see where you end up. Like again, just show you this last one, and then we'll go through the selections that we liked. And yeah, I mean, neat, not what we're looking for, right? Just not what we're looking for. Using terms like eye-catching, big, bold, throwing in the colors you want. Logo integrates. Like using so what I'm saying here is like integrate the bulldog into it. Like so sometimes, like if you look at something like this, the bulldog's not integrated into the text. He's on top of it. I kind of dig that, but like it's I'd want it on a t-shirt. I don't really want it there. So I'm just trying to give it a little more direction. Again, it's all about direction with AI. It's like you have to think about why you don't like it. Yeah, I don't like any of this stuff. So again, this is just I would just one last shot here. I'm sorry, I keep going. Again, it's addicting. It's and we're gonna get rid of the smiley. Just do a happy chubby bulldog. Again, moving words around, this is what it does. Like so sometimes you can just move a word from like the end of a sentence to the beginning of a sentence. You're like, well, that doesn't mean anything. But it kind of like where you put a word in a sentence has something to do with how well it does. We're gonna do one last thing before we go on here. Actually, I'll show you how to do it. So I don't like any of these. These all just look not what I like. So we're just gonna let it go. All right. So what we're gonna do now. You know what? I'll leave it for the next video. But let's just say I'm gonna create the thumbnail for this video in my next video. So I don't want to keep them too long. So I hope you like this. Again, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna go with which one? Which one would you pick? That's my question. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I like the beard. I like the question is, can you get the cool stuff out of there? But I think I'm going to go with that one. So I hope you enjoyed this. We're going to keep doing cool stuff with AI. I'm Michael Howard. Please like, subscribe, and comment.